what we learned, but I want to share with you, I think, a deep insight. It's not just so we can go further in the Nefesh HaChaim. What we learned until now in the union of bracha was that a bracha is not what everybody thinks it is. What a bracha is a method of bringing that which is Ein Sof into something which is Sof, or bringing infinity or eternity into Gvul, into a place of finitude. And just that's an amazing koach. Amazing koach is of, not only does it mean that through bracha one can experience miraculous events, kriyas yamsuf, personal miracles, whatever it might be, but it mostly refers to, and I'd like to prove this to you, but it mostly refers to the eternity of Bnei Yisrael. It's somehow against all odds, and this is extremely muspar, according to what we're going to learn now. It's extremely understandable that even though, it's a stira, because on the one hand, that we live forever and the Jews keep on going on and on is unto itself a miracle. But the double miracle is that we've been tortured and everyone's been tried, or the Egyptians to the Nazis, everybody tried to annihilate us. So it's a double miracle, and really a triple miracle, because what you do find is that kasher inu that the more we were tortured, Ken Yifrites. Ken Yirba, on the contrary, it seems to have an opposite effect. And that's what bracha is. Bracha is creating this kind of a magical infinity within something which has finite boundaries. And it's so important to understand that. I just want to be mosav onto that before I go further, that Ba'etzem bracha is something infinite, something which is beyond the hasaga of basar v'dam, and therefore it's not something which is seeable scientifically. You can do statistics on it, but you can't actually understand it under a microscope. So there's nobody that can explain, this in the Kiruv programs, they like to quote Mark Twain. I don't know why Mark Twain and not the Rizal, but never what they want from Mark Twain and an anti-Semite. But Mark Twain's anti-Semite. But he was frustrated by the fact that it seems to be that the Jews are able to go forever, and but you can't really see it. It's not something which you can test in a laboratory. Only statistically you can see it, and the reason is because the hasaga of basar v'dam, sof kol sof, anybody, as long as we're in this world, imruchi gviyasi, as we say it on Doidolo, right? Imruchi gviyasi, that it's only the neshama that can see such a thing, and it's only the neshama that we're seeing. So a basar v'dam can't see it. You can't see it. You can just you can know that it's there, but you can't see it. So the infinity is not something anybody can conceive of, and therefore you can't see it. Which is why I just want to make two diyukim in Chazal. First of all, Chazal never speak about a person having a bracha or not having a bracha. The Chazal speak about that you can see, that you can measure. The Chazal speak about ein royin siman bracha. Ein royin siman bracha. The only re'iyah which is possible is on the simonim of bracha. The simonim of bracha means that this person has something magical about them, infinite about them, and the simonim are that they live forever, the arichas yomim, the unusual amount of hatzlacha that they have. Simonei bracha. It's an important diuk that the Chazal don't measure anything by bracha, not bracha. Who can see bracha? What you can see is simonei bracha. What Rabbi is saying is that we have a klal in Shas, which I believe is possibly misunderstood. That ein habracha sharoi ela al davar ela al hadavar shehu samli min ha'ayin. The bracha is only rests on something if it's invisible, samui mina ayin. So what we possibly misunderstand, or at least superficially understand, is what that means is that hide your wealth. Because bracha is not shori on something if it's begalui. Or if the doctor tells you in your pregnancy you're going to have a boy or a girl, don't tell anybody. Because eina bracha shori al davar shows samui mina ayin. What's even more interesting is that people don't tell people that they're pregnant, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells everybody.
Yeah, right.
Hare kresa ben shinaho. That's what the Gemara says. I wanted it to be obvious. Why not? But I don't think that the pshat is that you're supposed to keep something secret to get a bracha. The pshat is the other way around, that if there's a bracha, it's secret. Samui min ayin, it's only on something that your eyes don't see. There's no bracha on something which is visible. It's not like there's a bracha and there's going to become a skyscraper, or there's going to become a child. The ein habracha shori al davar samui min ayin. When Hashem gives a bracha, it's on a davar which is samui min ayin. It's on an invisible thing, an intangible thing. This is a revolution in pshat.
That's what we had to be told about Shabbos, the bracha of Shabbos.
V'chulu. But nekoit haiklala b'yodcha, that bracha is not something anybody can see. It's samui min ha'ayin. The bracha gufa is samui min ha'ayin. And mele it's only chala on davar which is samui min ha'ayin. Let me explain in radical terms that the eternity or invincibility of the Jewish people is samui min ayin. It's not something which anybody can see. What we can see is holocausts. That's what we can see is concentration camps. But who could look at that and see Eretz Yisrael, or see us, or see our children? Who could see that? Nobody could see it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a bracha. So here, that being said, let me try to explain a few psukim, and then really I want to understand Parshas Balak and Bilam, which is where I believe in the Torah there's two places where you have the Makar of Bracha and the Makar of Klala. One's in Parshas Lech Lecha and one's in Parshas Balak.
Can I ask a question to try and just understand?
As long as you don't mix me up.
So you'll tell me. But we can look back and observe the miracle that's been created. Klal Yisrael is still here.
You can look back.
Eretz Yisrael is still here. We can't necessarily observe their infinity.
It's a mathematical, in other words, you could do a statistic. Hey, we're still here. That's a siman bracha.
So we can observe the
We can see a siman of bracha. What you can't look at another Jew and say, I see eternity. It shows up. A doctor's not going to see this. But it's not that we just have the ability to defy nature. That's not the point. The point is that there's a piece of us within us which is infinity, which is eternal. When we make a bracha, I explained on Sunday the matbeya of the bracha, how the bracha works. We're moving from the ata to the nister, from the nigla to the nister. We're moving to a place of infinity in both directions. We're going from something finite, like a glass of water, making a bracha. We're going all the way to Shemaim, bringing that infinity into the water, Gewalt. So that's the matbeya of a bracha is. So the bracha that we're talking about, you can see simane bracha, but you can't see a bracha. You can't see a bracha.
And we certainly can't observe it going forward.
Right, that's for sure.
Can you see after the fact?
Well, that's what he's saying. You can see simanim. You can see footprints. Wow. Obviously, you have a bracha. There's a personal thing that I treasure is that when I wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael, so I went to ask a number of very chashuv people that I had a kesher with whether I should move to Eretz Yisrael or not. I was a pretty success. I mean, I don't know how you measure successful. A pretty successful rabbi in America, the Hainu Had a large congregation, got paid a lot of money. Got a lot of cover, got a lot of bizyonis, all the things that very successful in that regard. Very
There's
rabbi-ish.
the simon of bracha.
Had a lot of hashpah.
So, everyone I asked friends, I asked Rosh Yeshivas, I asked Gedolim, and they all said, look, when you come to Eretz Yisrael, like, it was bothering them to give up something which was successful to come to Eretz Yisrael. My life told me to come to Eretz Yisrael, but my brain told me it doesn't make any sense. My wife said, I'll go either way, brain, heart, whatever, ask Gedolim, okay. So, interesting, why I had a Rabbi that I asked things to, but I couldn't get a hold of this Rabbi because he was in South America when I was in the middle of making this decision. So I asked this one, I asked that one, I made a special trip to Eretz Yisrael, and they all told me not to come. One of the very chashuv, I don't mention names here, one of the chashuv, come here and be a Rav, said, Medina Malay Rabbanim. We're going to be a Rav. No mitzias of being a Rav in Eretz Yisrael. There's no such mitzias of being a Rav in Eretz Yisrael. Another one told me that your kids, another like all kinds of things. I don't know, like I wasn't comfortable. I got, when I came back from from Eretz Yisrael to America, B'diuk I found out that Rav Scheinberg was landing from South America to America and then going out onto Israel. And we were both in JFK at the same time. And but inside there was nowhere to connect. And he came out of security specially, which is a big hassle for him. He came out of security specially. And there we met. He had an entourage. I had me. I said to him, I told him exactly what my experience was, my question was. So he said to me, the words that I live on, he said to me that...
He had already come to Israel by that time?
No, in America. This was Kennedy Airport.
He was still in America.
Yeah.
He was still living in America.
No, he lived in Israel.
Yeah,
this was only 15 years ago. He moved here in 62, But he said to me that Al Pi Svara, it doesn't make any sense to move. But this was a short conversation. He says, you seem to be an ish matzliach. You'll be matzliach here also. So, Baruch Hashem. Matzliach. Point to the building as you point to the people, like Baruch Hashem, matzliach. But I'm clearing for 15 years. Was that a bracha, or was that an observation, or what was that? Or what? So the question, or was it just chizuk? I don't know. Anyways, I moved here. So I just there's this nekuda of something which is keneged aseichel, dahainu, something that you can't see, but it's there, and then there's the mitzias of shalei kederach hateva, that something can work anyway, but it's not something that you can see. So what was he pointing to? Simonei bracha. Simonei bracha. Like you look backwards, you see matzliach. You see there's hatzlacha, so why shouldn't it go forward? The Torah says, let's start just very relatively quickly for what this deserves.
There's a spirit.
Yeah. Vayem Hashem el Avram, lech lecha, famous psukim, me'artzecha, me'meladecha, me'beis avicha, el ha'aretz asher, areka. Ve'escha l'goy gadol, I will make you a great nation. Ve'avarechecha, v'agad lo shmecha, ve'hayei bracha. You will become bracha. Not you will get a bracha, I will bless you. But the nekuda here that Hashem added was v'hayei bracha. Hirsch's English translation here: become thou a blessing. V'hayei bracha. Va'avarcha mivarechecha. I believe this is a pirush. What does it mean? You will become a blessing. So Nefesh HaChaim brought the Chazal, which said that until now, I was giving the brachas out, Hashem says. From Mikan ve'elach, you're giving the brachas out. You're giving the brachas out. So Avraham Avinu gave him a bracha that he should become a big rabbi. No. He gave him a bracha that you become a bracha. And when you become a bracha, what happens is, va'avarcha mivarechecha, those that bless you will be blessed, ve'makalelcha o'ar. And those that are makalel you, now the opposite of bracha is bracha. But the opposite of bracha has to my knowledge, 3 lashonos. There's a lashon, which I'd like to explain. There's a lashon of klala, bracha v'klala. There's a Torah lashon, which is much more common in the Torah of a'ar, me'era, first. And there's a lashon of kava. Ma kava like kava el. What's the use of cursing if Hashem doesn't curse? That's what Bilam says. Kava el. Here it's strange because he says avarcha mivarachecha. Those that bless you, I will give them a bracha. Umikalelcha o'ar. Those that curse you, are. Now, let's understand. Hashem said to Avraham Avinu, you are bracha. You are a metzias of bracha. Meaning you are a merkava for the Shekhinah. You are the one that the Ein Sof is manifesting itself into this world through you. Because of everything you've done. You, and this is what we need to tell our children, that we have this chush. We have inherited something which is a metzias of bracha. It doesn't mean that necessarily that we're better or we're worse, or it's not a racist thing. It's just Hashem gave us bracha. Bracha is an invisible thing, but you see, Avram Avinu said later on, he says to Eliezer, his Eved, he says, look, we can't marry each other because it's nishkin shidduch. Ein oror davik b'baruch, meaning Noach already said, Baruch Shem, and he said, Oror Canaan, and you're Canaan, and I'm Shem, and Hashem gave me a bracha. Nishkin shidduch. Ein Oror mistabik b'bracha. It's like just a metzias that we are a metzias v'heyeh bracha. So v'heyeh bracha, you are a bracha, be thou a blessing, means that there's something from the time of Avram Avinu on, Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, from Avram Avinu on, there's something in us, the Bnei Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov, which is eternal. We're just born with that. It's a metzias of bracha. It's a metzias of infinity which exists within every Jew, and nobody can take that away. So Rav Hirsch asked the question: Mekalelcha or what's the two lashonos here? If somebody comes along and they give you a klala, so they will get a me'era. But why are they giving why is it mekalelcha or? Why doesn't it say ume'arecha or? Like the midah keneged midah should be, they're giving you an ara, you give them back an ara. So Rav Hirsch explains that because nobody can take away the bracha from Bnei Yisrael. No nation can take away the bracha of Bnei Israel. No individual can take away the bracha. That's what Metzias. So the most they can do is mikalelcha. Klala they can give us. Mikalelcha, he explains, the Malbim explains, klala is the opposite, not of bracha. Klala is the opposite of kavod. Kaved, kal. Kavod, klala. Nobody can destroy us, but they can certainly take away our kavod. And they will get confused and think that they're destroying you. But they can't destroy you because you can't destroy the bracha. You can't destroy infinity. You can only destroy the keli of the infinity, and they can make concentration camps and pogroms and expulsions and all kinds of things. It's a favorite pastime. This idea of anti-Semitism. Just even read the news. Today, yesterday. It's like part of the bria. Mikalelcha, Hashem was telling Abraham, there's a Metzias here. A Mikalelcha, but it will not destroy, it can destroy the kavod of Bnei Yisrael. It can destroy the goof, but it can't destroy the spirit. And the pshat is, it can't destroy the infinity. So Mikalelcha is as far as they can go. Klala, they can take away your kavod. There's no aura from a non-Jew to a Jew. There is no such thing. However, Mekalelcha or I can destroy them. I will destroy them. Meaning, and Rav Hirsch explains so beautifully, that the reason Avram Avinu and us, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaacov, Shvatim, and us, were given this bracha of infinity is for one reason and one reason only, not because we're anything special necessarily, but the reason we have this is because our job is to be or lagoyim. Yeshayahu put it that way, it's put in many ways, but Avram Avinu himself said it. Avram Avinu taught the word of Hashem to the whole world. He taught the world about monotheism. He taught the world why Hashem made the world. That was what he taught. He taught Nefesh HaChaim to the Goyim. Why did Hashem create the world? So Hashem gave us, when you can take on that kind of a challenge, especially in the time of Avram Avinu when everything was paganism. When you take on that kind of a challenge, you need kelim, you need the tools, and the tools are infinity. The tools are the tool of changing the world is infinity, because if you don't have this infinity, then you just go with nature. So natural is that this is what happens. But you see that Mikalelcha, it's often said that the non-Jews try to take away our chosenness. I think it's deeper than that. It's not just, of course, but it's not just about our chosenness. They're trying to get rid of the infinity of this kind of like miraculous existence of the Jewish people, not chosenness, but the miraculous existence. But we're here to stay because Hashem gave us this bracha. He said this to Avram Avinu. So what happens when somebody is Mekalel us? So Rav Hirsch explains, well, as long as you're helping us with our mission, so you can share some of the bracha. You can have some of the kavod, the goyim. You're helping us with our mission. However, the moment that you're trying to destroy the mission and the light, the or lagoyim, and the infinity of the Jewish people, then you're useless. In other words, animals can't talk. Jews can talk, non-Jews can talk, humans can talk. Why? Because everybody has to be able to articulate the Devar Hashem. But the minute that you're challenging the mission of Bnei Yisrael to be the chief speakers on this issue, or I will get rid of you. Not only do they lose their koyach hadibur, they lose their metzias.
That's true for Ishmael also.
I was going to ask that.
But when?
Might not be.
What about Amalek?
When is it in history that we're challenged by the Goyim?
When isn't it in history that we're challenged?
Shlomo Melech's time.
Okay, so the Goyim became rich because of Shlomo Melech. That's the whole Sefer Malachim. In other words, the bracha v'nivrchu b'cha kol mishpuchos ha'adam is as long as you're helping with but not just help a Jew. By the way, somehow the Christians get this. Some of them, they understand this thing. But v'nivrchu b'cha, if you're helping with the mission, so then some of that infinity can go to you. But if you're trying to destroy the mission, so mikalelcha, the best you could do is make a kolel, which take away the covet from the Israel. The best you could do is make a concentration camp, which is pretty bad. It's muvazar covet. It's a covet issue. But I mean, it muvazar goof. But you can't take away the high-spirited Jew, but what happens is you will then turn around and be destroyed, as were the Egyptians. They never appeared again in history, Jewish history. There's no Egyptians anymore. Once there was a Kriyas Yamsuf, goodbye, and London. The only thing is Amalek. We'll talk about Amalek. That's next week's problem. But every nation. Rav Hirsch speaks about this. He says pretty much what I said. I think in simpler words. He says that at the end of this entire treatise about what our bracha is, vayisa bracha, v'hayeh bracha. In these two words, the whole moral task is summarized the accomplishment of which is the condition of the fulfillment of God's wish. Oh, that your name should become great, and that you become a blessing. I would make you into a nation to which other nations have only to look to become conscious of what their task is, and this task which you are to accomplish, in contrast to the efforts of all other nations to become a blessing. He says at the end, after explaining this for 3 pages, the difference between klala and oror, and the fact that v'nivruchu b'chal kol mishpachos ha'adama, but those that don't help us, he says, will completely be destroyed and forgotten from history. And the end of this paragraph is, and so it seems to be. Such a profound sentence, and so it seems to be. You know,
What's happening in Germany today?
I mean, we're the Greeks. They're making pizza and olives. Like, no, there was like their idea. We're the Romans. What are they doing? You know, suits. You know, but the thing of it is that you know these were nations. These were powerful nations. You know, Germany is. I read something very. I was reading the Jerusalem Post Christian edition. Yes, there's a Jerusalem Post Christian edition. It's the only one.
Subscriber?
The only one I read. Yeah. Yeah, but Jerusalem Christian edition.
The other one's the courses.
Right. I think Christian edition they're probably more religious.
But this is accessible on the internet?
Yeah, Jerusalem Post Christian edition. So they had with all the I don't know, I'm not a guy to talk politics, but just interests to me that with all the mishigas that goes on here on a regular basis, and now like Netanyahu, how many chocolate bars did you take? How many cigars did you take? You took 2 bottles of wine. You're like, what's going on over here? Which is obvious that it's all political and trying to get this one down and this one up and change around those places in the Knesset. So this Christian guy from Texas writes in a letter, and he says, the Israelis have to understand that millions of people are watching you to be our moral guide. Uh-huh. And we're really taken by the humanity of your army and by the eternity of the Jewish people. But when you do these things which are laughable, like you got us laughing at you, and you're the Rabbeim. You're the Rabbi.
You're taken away.
Powerful piece of mussar,
Which part was he referring to?
he was referring to the indictment of Netanyahu.
I'm saying so he was referring to the maisim of the boss or the actions of the people who were...
The actions of somebody who's trying to get kavod, so tries to find any kind of mishigas and somebody else. By the way, I'm certainly not passing who's innocent, who's guilty. I don't know. I have no musig in this whole thing. Lucky I know who the prime minister is. I'm just, I'm only saying that, somehow the goyim get it. Yeah. Well, we don't get. I don't want to be country, but it's like such an interesting thing. So, anyways, so it seems to be. That's the so it seems to be is mikalelcha is the most that they can do, and if they do that, they will be destroyed. So a me'era sheyavay al beisam is. So let's understand this. Just to put this in a sentence. What we're talking about here is that a klala is kal v'kaved. It's chitzoni. And in a me'era is pnimi. Bracha is pnimi. So bracha is the opposite of ma'ara. And klala is a different... Now the Torah uses the word oror. Oror atabir. Oror atabir. God can decide, only God can decide what's be'etzem eternal and what's not eternal. People can give klalas, but Hashem gives the bracha, and Hashem gives the ma'ara. So bracha and ma'ara are on the same level, and that's the decision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who opts in and who opts out. And there's really no purpose, there's no purpose for all the nations of the world, like the joke is, like somebody has to buy retail. That's why Hashem made goyim. But it's the serious shot is that, of course, the whole world is supposed to be a Malchus Hashem, and we're supposed to be the leaders of that. We're the teachers. So if you're trying to make your own mission, so that's klala, but mekalelcha or that was the bracha to Abimelech. Now let's just. I just have a couple of minutes. I just want to.
the or is destruction, right?
Or is utter destruction because or is be'etzem.
So it's a chilul, it's almost someone is trying to do a chilul Hashem. Hashem put infinity
Correct.
into it, and trying to destroy that, so that's...
So Haber, did you want to relate to the Musam Kabo? Like, what's that?
Yes, I'm going to do that right now. So look what happens.
Kabbalah Meir, that's very strong.
Yes, Tavei Olav Me'era. Olav Val Beisai. Me'era is the strongest, because, so again, just memorize this, that Me'era and Bracha are the opposite. Not Bracha and Klala. Because Klala is Bachutz. Me'era is Bifnim. No one can take away the Bracha that Avram Avinu received from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, except for HaKadosh Baruch Hu itself. So take a look here. You don't take a look, listen to me. Balak challenges the Jewish people. And he says, Vayagar Moav mipnei ha'am ma'od. Balak felt very challenged and threatened by the Jewish people. Kiravu. And this is what he does. Yishlach malachim el Bilam ben Ba'or. He sends malachim, means shulchim, to Bilam ben Ba'or, P'sayra asher al anar. And he says as follows. Here's my appeal to you, Bilam. Bilam was a big guru. Hine am yatzam Mitzrayim. There's a nation coming that just got out of Mitzrayim. Hine chisos ein aretz v'hu yoshe mimuli. They're in front of us. They're in our face. Ba'ata. Listen carefully. Ba'ata. Now, he says to Bilam. Balak says to Bilam. His shluchim. L'cha na ara li. L'cha na ara li. Destroy them with your kishuf. Destroy them with whatever you have. I want an arur here. Kiyatzum hu mimeni, because ba'etzam they seem to be stronger than me. Why? Because they're a bracha. Ulai, and then maybe uchal nakaboy v'agarshenu min ha'aretz ki adati es asher tevarach mevarach v'asher ta'ar you are. Bilam, you seem to have the koach of me'era. Vayavoyo Bilam, vayidaber elav divrei Balak. Let's just travel quickly through the parsha over here. The people come to Bilam. Bilam says like this. Vayomer Bilam, Bilam speaks to Hashem. Vayomer Bilam el Elokim. Balak ben Tzipor melech Moav shalach elai. Hine, and this is what he said. Hine ha'am ha'yotzei mitzrayim. There's a people come, repetition, right? There's a people coming out of Mitzrayim. Vayichasus ein aretz ata l'cha kava li. That's not what they said at all. L'cha kava li oisai ulai uchali lachim by v'gerashti. Exactly the same words, except that he changes ara to kava. What's the difference between ara and kava? Kava, on the one hand, is harsher, because kava, Rashi says, kavali, zukasha me'erali, zukasha me'erali. Why? Because kava is a lashon of nokev. Do you know, nokev asher nikvu b'shemois. When you articulate something to its finest point, it's called l'nakev, like you're making a roshan. You're really saying it out clearly. Asher nikvu b'shemois, distinguished. They are kach lachem anoshim asher nikvu b'shemois means Hashem told Moshe, pick men that are nikvu, that are distinguished. They stand out. So on the contrary side of this, if you curse somebody and you do it b'nikuv, that means you have to be very articulate in your curses against the other person. So that's the one hand. But the Mefarshim explain that it's kasha me'era, but it doesn't reach as deep, because me'era is a complete destruction of the other person or religion. A kava is the most articulate form of a klala, which doesn't hit the atzmius of the person. So he says, Bilam understood already, I'm not going to be able to create an orur. The best I could do maybe is do the most sophisticated form of klala, which is a kava. So that's what the kava is.
That was to take away the covered kilo? He wasn't going to destroy
The most I could do.
Just take away the
Yeah,
cover.
I can't. So Rashi says, Well, let's see. Vayomer Elokim el Bilam lo selach imayim. Don't go. Lo sa'ar es ha'am. Ki baruchu. Now, where do we have ki baruchu? As Hashem said to Avram Avinu, v'heyeh bracha. Rashi says, further, Kfar Berachti is Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaacov, B'Hashros Hashchina. What are you gonna? I made them baruch. Remember, like Avraham Avinu said, Hey Baruch Hashem said that Ein Baruch Mistavik, or I can't. This is a mitzias. You can't change the mitzias. You're not going to take the properties of water and turn it into the properties of gold. And you're not going to take gold and you're not going to make it into water. It's not going to happen. Like, so, ki baruchu is the bracha. If you keep on going, he goes on. He says, I can't go with them. They come back again. And they offer him kavod. Don't give up. Ki chabed achabedcha ma'oid. Now, what's he offering them kavod? Because kavod, okay, in other words, on the kavod level we can deal. Take away their kavod and we'll give you kavod. Chabed achabed. Even if you're telling me you can't do a ma'ara, they said to him, let's do a kavod. So they switched. You see what happens? Beautiful. They switched from Or to Kava. And Bilam says, however, hang out here. I'll see what Hashem says, because now that we're dealing on a place of Kava, Klala, maybe here I can do something against the Jews, which people have been able to do. Okay, go with them. Would he change his mind? Change his mind because now you're dealing on a lashon, on a level of oror, not a lashon level of oror, but on a lashon of kava and klala. The next thing that happens in the story is that Bilam gets stuck with his donkey, and his donkey starts to talk to him. Like, what does Mr. Ed have to do with Parshas Balak here? Like, what's the you know? It's a nice story, but you understand the message of this? The message of this was that Hamor is the ultimate in Gashmi, is Chomer.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate in that which is not able to talk. And the Hamor talks. Meaning that when it's up to me, Hashem says, to, Dibur, that the Hamor did, is the first sign of Tzelem Elokim. I decide this. The Hamor can talk. And the Hamor says to him, why are you hitting me? Shalosh Regalim. And Chazal say, from here we were Zoichet to Shalosh Regalim. What happens in the Shalosh Regalim? Remember we learned? Asher Kitshanu, Asher Kidash, Tanu. That we are the reason we just learned this morning. The reason why we can do Birchas Kohanim and Chutzlaretz on Yom Tov is because on Yom Tov we're mamish meeting the Creator, even on Chutzlaretz. There's duchening even in Eretz Yisrael all the time. Chutzlaretz only on the Moyed. But what is Shalosh Regalim means that I can infuse this level of bracha into the Jewish people. That's the whole story of the Hamor. The whole story of the Hamor, the talking Hamor, is that Hashem decides who talks and who doesn't talk. The Hamor could talk, and the Moabites will disappear, and Midian will disappear. There's so much to say. If we would be in Parshas Balak, there's like so much to say here, but. Balak finally says to Bilam, okay, don't curse them, but don't bless them. And Bilam says, Yisa Mishaloi v'yoymar, one of the four things that he said. V'yoymar, Min Aram yancheni Balak melech Moav. Moav comes to me from Aram, Mesopotamia. Mehare Kedem, and he says, L'cha ara li Yaacov. Ara li Yaacov. U'l'cha zoya ma Yisrael. Find a way. Ma ekov le'kaboy el. I can't even, what kind of a curse can I give if Hashem doesn't give the curse? Ma ezoim le'zam Hashem ki mirosh surmer migvonis ha'yishrenu. Heim am levadad yishkan. And Rashi, by the way, repeats over and over again. He says, what curse can I give them if Hashem blessed them? Hashem blessed Avram with the Shekhinah. Vayomer Balak Bilam gam koiv lo yisakavenu gam barech lo yisavarchenu. Vayan Bilam v'yomer Balak haloi dibarti elecha lemer kol asher dibar Hashem oisoi eseh. What becomes clear in the parsha, we need to finish. But what becomes clear in the parsha is that Bilam wasn't giving us any brachas at all. Do we find something that happened to us because of brachas? What Bilam kept on saying to Balak was a metzias. What do you want from me? There's a metzias here of baruch. A baruch is not an oror. Where do I see this metzias? I see the metzias of Matoivu Alecha Yaakov Mishkaneisecha Yisrael. I see, Rashi says, Matoivu Alecha Yaakov, you're going to have a Bayis Rishon. You're going to have a Bayis Sheni. You're going to have a Mishkan Shilai. Matoivu Alecha, they're all going to be destroyed. And the Shekhinah is still with them. Everybody's trying to destroy the Jewish people. Everybody's trying to destroy the Hashraz HaShekhinah. Get the building down. But you can't, what Bilam is pointing out, you can't do an aura, ma or like or kel, ma kava like kava kel. I can't do or I can't even do a kava on them because Hashem is protecting them by giving them this bracha. So you understand what we're saying here? That there's bracha kala. Bilam says I can't touch it. Let me. Maybe we'll go back to this, but let me just say one last thing. Basof Bilam was successful.
Yeah.
How was he successful? He got us involved with the Benos Midyan.
Yeah.
And then what happens? What happens is you turn to Parshas Kisavoy, and there it says, Orur ata ba'ir, orur ata b'sada. And what are the 11 arurim? The 11 arurim, Kisavoy, Rashi says, is connected 11 of the Shvatim of Klal Yisrael. Each one did a different chet. And there's 11 arurim, and you look at the arurim, they are all for Avodah Zarah, or Aisha Shiyasa Pesel Masecha. And then what it gets to is, or Shoichev Meshes Aviv Kigila Knaf Aviv, or Shoichev in Kol Behema V'Amar Kolam Amen, or Shoichev in Machoisei Bas Aviv, or Basim V'Amar Kolam Amen, or Shoichev in Choisantei V'Amar Kolam Amen. So it's 40% Gilui Arayas, and about 60% Lashon Hara and being dishonest with people. So it means to say what Bilam was saying is, look, I can't do this because I can't take a bracha and turn it into an aura. I can't even seem to get a curse in there, although many nations have been able to curse us and take away our kavod, kal and kaved. What I can do is get them to go against HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then there'll be an aura from Hashem. And that worked. That worked to some extent. It worked. But the Nekuda was the aura was the opposite of the bracha, which Bilam couldn't do with words, but he could do it by getting Bnei Yisrael to marry who they shouldn't marry and live what they shouldn't live with, and as Rashi says, and speak Lashon Hara. Or Masik Zul Reyehu, Rashi says Zuchet Lashon Hara. Asagas Zul Zuchet Lashon Hara. You have to understand the Rashi also. But what I couldn't do, the Jews themselves can bring upon themselves. So it means to say, to touch it up, to sum it all up, is that you have bracha, you have ma'ara, you have klala, you have kavod, or kavod and klala, I don't know which side I'm on, and the kavod, the kavod, the kaved and the kal, the kavod and the klala, those can happen in this world because that's not infinity. That's not infinite. That's something you see. I have kavod, I don't have kavod. It's, by the way, the closest thing to infinity. Like people get older, they don't have any longer like a taivas noshim, they don't have such taivas mammon anymore. But taivas covered like until the minute you die. People. I tell you how many times how many funerals I've officiated where where the mace, a 90-year-old guy, wrote out the major points in his life that I should mention in his eulogy. Now you have to ask, like, what do you care? It's not like you're even such a year. Like make sure that it's done because you don't, opposed to the Gedolim, which they don't say anything about me, but kavod, like sticks with you like forever. That's because it's the most spiritual of all the physical things, but it's still physical. So as far as the you have to give so much kavod for Avaim and kavod Rav and kavod Talmud Chacham. This is all like it's negotiating with the spiritual, and this is as far as the enemies Mikalelcha can go, and what happens to them is you're not part of the program. If you're Mikalelcha, if you're stopping the Jews in their mission, you're not part of the program anymore. So Balak tried to stop the Jews, the Mikalelcha, he's gone. We did get a problem by ourselves, which Pinchas fixed up in the next parsha, and that is that we brought a Me'era al Beisenu. How do we do that? By violating the horrors of Parshas Kisavai. So then we have Bracha and Me'era juxtaposing with each other. Good and Chodesh.
Amen.
Sorry, Rabbi, just why is it then that we don't see that Abraham Avinu? I mean, Rashi explains it obviously because he sees by Yitzchak that Esau is going to get born, but Abraham won't give the bracha to Yitzchak. He said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to give the bracha to Yitzchak. So, just
why didn't he want to give it to Yitzchak? Why didn't he want to give it to Yishmael? Yishmael also has an eternal nature to him. Just because Baruch Elikei Shem, who's Yishmael, and he saw that Yishmael, Yitzchak, through Yishmael Yishmael was more earthy and more malchus than the Bnei Yaacov, which are more esoteric and more sitting in a ivory tower. Who's going to teach the people more? That was the question. Truth is, Yishmael makes the news even more than the Jews do, right? I mean, Yishmael has this koach of
because my understanding was he sees a rishus in Esau and he doesn't want to give the bracha to Yitzchak. But if we see,
you talk about Yitzchak and Yishmael, Esav and Yaakov.
yes,
That's where we are. With Esav also, I see the rishus, but I also see the koach of Malchus. I see that he's able to get deep and grungy into the earth. Esav, Ish Sada. Yishmael was Roiva Keshes. He was looking, all the others were looking for a way to bring the Kvod Hashem closest down to earth as possible. And Yaakov and Yitzchak were up there. But the answer is, I mean, Hashem thought otherwise, and the Yemahais thought otherwise also. Lo yirash b'nei Yitzchak, lo yirash Yishmael and Yitzchak b'nei. You see that the Yemahais understood the Omek Hadavar is that as the Or La'amim, they have to be somewhat above an elite and then be able to teach. But what everyone's trying to destroy is that mission Gufa. And Me'era Yavai al Beisam, they will all be destroyed.
In the Nusaf of the Haggadah, the Knech is Omdim Aleinu L'Chalosenu, Hitzilenu Miyadam. So it's a slightly different tack.
Yeah, but again,
Well, what's the mashmas of L'Chalosenu as opposed to Kolola? And Hitzilenu.
well, they're not able to Chalosenu.
But what's Chalosenu in terms of?
Chalosenu means complete annihilation.
So that means.
Tachlis, kolo,
So,
kol.
So which form of curse would that?
No, they're coming to like Balak. They're coming to completely destroy us. Our whole thing.
Yeah.
And HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matzaleinu Miyadam. That's never going to happen because we have a bracha. It's never going to happen. It's just not going to work. And on the contrary, they will become destroyed, and so it seems to be.
Baruch Hashem.
Interesting. Okay.